Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nityamachyutavadambujigmarupa Vyamohata Siddharani Trinaya Meni Asmadguru Bhagavato Siddhaika Sindho Ramanujasya Charano Sharanam Prapadhye. This is Smarnamatrena Advaitavasana Pramachyate Bodhatmakaya Namastasmai Bhagavate Shirmanamarshaye. Hridakashe Sada Bhantam Shantamanandarupinam Jnanabhavan Muhammande Sadguru Sri Sathya Sai Mamantaryaminam. What is important is the acquisition of one-pointedness, equanimity, and the freedom from likes and dislikes. Why have all these spiritual disciplines, this chanting, this meditation, this devotional singing to be practiced? It is all done to acquire single-mindedness, one-pointedness, is it not? Once this one-pointedness is accomplished, then human effort becomes unnecessary. Inner significance will then be revealed on its own. Shraddha. Shraddha is what is important. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Once we have that one-pointed attentiveness to the goal, to God, then nothing more needs to be done after that. Swami says human effort itself becomes unnecessary thereafter. The goal has not yet been reached, but still human effort becomes unnecessary. That is the beauty. There is only, it's not that you've got to keep on doing effort. Isn't this wonderful to know? Many years ago, in India, when we were in India, insurance agent came to see us. LIC insurance agent, Life Insurance Corporation of India. So he came up with a very beautiful policy. And he said, in this policy, if you start, you have to pay a premium every year. You have to pay the premium for 15 years, you have to pay the premium. Then, for 10 years after that, you don't have to pay any premium, but it will still multiply. 25 years afterwards, you can access the policy. This was the thing he came up with. So at that time, it was useful for tax and so on purposes, so we signed up for it. But what was beautiful in that is you don't have to pay the policy for the full 25 years. You only have to pay for the first 15 years. The next 10 years, they themselves will put the money and give it to you at the end of 25 years. Sadhana is also like this one. You don't have to keep on putting in the effort until you are able to redeem the policy. You have to put in effort only for 15 years. Another 10 years, Bhagavan himself will put in the bonus. And then you will get the goal at the end of it. Isn't that much better? Not even 25 years, only 15 years. Corresponding, according. If you get onto the escalator, all your effort is required only to step on to the first step of the escalator. Thereafter, even if you don't do anything, you will reach the top. Human effort becomes unnecessary after that. That Shraddha that Swami is talking about here, that one-pointedness that he is talking about here, is what is so difficult for most people to get. Because we get distracted. So quickly we become distracted by so many things. We become distracted by so many things. It is up to us to keep one-pointedness. There was one fellow, Bharti. He was not a student. I don't think he was a student. But he was very close to Swami. Swami gave proximity to him and talked to him and all that. And Swami kept on telling him, when is your marriage? When is your marriage? When are you getting married? When is your marriage? And he was adamant, no Swami, I don't want to get married. I don't want to get married. Marriage. And even the staff who were in the organization in Prashanti, they also said, hey, look, Swami is insisting so much that you should get married. You should get married. He said, no, I will not get married. I don't want to lose this opportunity. I don't want to unnecessarily. I've seen what happens with those who get married. I don't want to get married. Kept on saying it. Everybody thought he's disobeying Swami. And one day Swami came and said, hey, do you know what I meant by marriage? You marrying me. Marriage between you and me, Swami said. In the end, what is that marriage? Marrying him, merging in God, the marriage. Not physical marriage. He never got married. Even though Swami was saying about marriage, get married. But what marriage? This is the marriage. What is he doing there? To check whether what are distractions. To check whether there are any distractions in his mind. Or test can even be a test. When Swami is seriously interested in getting you married, that's a different story. You will know it. He will put his foot down. He will put his foot down. Otherwise, he will, tease us. And we should know when he's teasing us and when he's actually putting his foot down. But why does he even do it, Abhina? Because the vasanas may be there, distractions may be there. So you might as well see whether you are going to get distracted. Shraddha is very important here. Just example kahta chale. So, those who are eager to become sadhakas to attain salvation, they should not be enticed by the wiles of bad feelings. They should have this attentiveness. The Shraddha is very important. You should see your own faults and make sure that you do not repeat them again. You should guard and protect the Shraddha that you have acquired with the eyes fixed on the goal and dismissing as trash whatever it is that you encounter on the path. Whether it is difficulties or challenges or defeats or disturbances or temptations, whatever it is, dismiss all of that as trash. Dismiss everything as trash. Eyes fixed only on the goal. Only then we can attain it. But while doing so, also, what does Swami say? He says, dwell on those subjects that give you joy and enthusiasm. Don't waste your time building up doubts regarding things big and small. Because enthusiasm is very necessary in the spiritual path. If you lack enthusiasm, then you will come to a standstill. Motivation will go away. You need to be constantly inspired in this path. Enthusiasm utsaham is very, very important. How to get utsaham? Then you take part in those activities or listen to those things or pay attention to those things that will give you this enthusiasm and joy. More and more, if you listen about God, you will feel more inspired about it. Instead, if you listen to things about this world, then naturally what little bit of Shraddha you're developing also will fritter away. Isn't it? You must understand it with a little bit of intelligence. See, in this world, if you look about this world with mere intelligence, the intellectual logic or reasoning, if you look at this world, analyze this world, what will you see? There are people happy, there are people suffering. You will see both. And amongst the people who are suffering also, you will see there are so-called devotees also are there who are suffering. Apo, what will it give rise to in your mind? What is the use of being devoted? Even devotees suffer. Will it give any enthusiasm to you? Will it give any cheer to you? Immediately you will feel all depressed and sad and disheartened. No point then. No use. There are numerous causes and reasons why certain things are happening. With the little bit of knowledge that we have, the little bit of information that we have, we cannot jump to conclusions and say this is why it is. This is why we cannot say. You may appear, so this is why Swami wanted. You may say, then you will find out there was another reason for it in the end. So what you came up was only the something superficial. You can never second guess him. So don't pay attention to those topics that will build doubt in you. This is for your own good only. Whatever else is important, two things have to be attended to as essential, Swami says here. Two things, these are very important. One, the conceit, the pride, I know everything. I know, you have to give up that conceit. The second thing is doubt. Samshayatma vinashyati. Two things, Swami, I remember in a summer course, he made such a big deal about it that we made it the theme. Vidya dadati vinayam samshayatma vinashyati. Vidya dadati vinayam samshayatma vinashyati. Vidya dadati vinayam means education, true education confers humility. Samshayatma vinashyati means the one who doubts perishes. These are the two axioms or maxims that Swami kept insisting so much that I remember in the foyer where we had to go into the auditorium, big banners we had, which students had made. Samshayatma vinashyati, Vidya dadati vinayam. The conceit that knows everything. But real knowledge gives you humility. Real knowledge gives you humility. If you see in this world, who is the most humble? Ishvara is the most humble. Bhagavan is so humble. He does everything and claims no credit whatsoever for anything. Is it not? Whether it is the rising of the sun or the movement of the tides, whether it is the life quickening in the womb, or whether it is growth and prosperity everywhere, no matter what happens, everything is happening because of Ishvara Sankalpa. Bhagavan is doing. He never tom-toms. In fact, he is most hidden. You do not even see his hand. Isn't it? So much so we say the hidden hand of God. Because it's not obvious. The hidden hand of God. He moves in mysterious ways. Because you cannot see it, how he is moving. Why does he do it? No ego. He doesn't need to have any propaganda and say, I did. That much humility Ishvara has. Ishvara has so much humility. Where are we? What are we? Bhagavan himself has, why does he have so much humility? Perfect knowledge is there. So humility is there automatically. How does knowledge give humility? There's nothing to be proud about. And there is no one else to be proud in front of. Two things. One, all this is useless anyway. For useless thing, are you going to be proud? Cholunga Baba. Can you say, I am very proud because I have the largest collection of garbage in my house? This hard rubbish day will come. When hard rubbish day comes, we will keep all the rubbish that we have, we'll dump it outside in the nature strip. Will anybody say, oh look, my pile is the biggest, more than all my neighbors in the whole street? Will anybody say? Is it something worth being proud about? That the fact that you have more rotten rubbish, you should have gotten rid of it a long time ago, you've accumulated inside your house for shame. Is having rubbish something to be proud about? By that token, everything that we have accumulated in this world is rubbish only. Anything and everything that we have, whether it is worldly knowledge, whether it is worldly talents and skills, whether it is worldly wealth, whether it is worldly popularity, name and fame, etc., all of it is rubbish that will be next instant, it can be forgotten. He is very popular. Next instant, he can become the persona non grata. Nobody will want to associate with him. Everybody will say, I don't know him. Yeah. Otherwise, they will take one photo that you had with that person and say, see, he was associating with that person. In politics, you find it a lot. They will dig up some old photo where they were hobnobbing with then somebody who was later on convicted. They will see, no, I don't know him. That was by mistake. I was standing there, he came. They have to justify after that. What has happened? The fellow who was sought after, now all of a sudden, nobody wants to even have the least association with him, denying even pre-existing associations. How long does it take? Is it worth? Name, fame, popularity, they're all like this only. Wealth, it becomes devalued like this. Now, how long will it take for things to be devalued? But currency, Sri Lanka, go to Sri Lanka, inflation is so much, it seems. If you want to buy a little bit of just vegetables for 2-3 days, it is 4,000, 5,000 rupees, it seems, in Sri Lanka. Where is the value? It has become devalued. Wealth can also become devalued like that, isn't it? Anything that we have accumulated in this world, people that we trust, they can turn against us. If all of this is rubbish only, what are we being proud about? What are we being proud about? To be proud about rubbish is being proud about stupidity. People are very proud that they are so stupid. I have so much pride. On the other hand, when you realize all of this is meaningless and valueless, where can there be pride in all of it? Immediately pride will go away. But when you have true knowledge, then what happens? True knowledge is that God alone exists. Who am I going to show off in front of? I'm proud in front of you because I have and you don't have. But if everything is God, then where is the place for pride? Isn't it? So either way, there can be no conceit, no pride in vidya dadati vinayam. True knowledge, true wisdom grants humility to you. The second wing, as it were, for this bird, what is it? Samshayatma vinashyati. The doubter shall, this comes from the Bhagavad Gita. Samshayatma vinashyati. The person with the doubt will perish. It is not a curse. Don't think that God is cursing you. If you doubt me, you will perish. It is not a curse like that. It is but a statement of fact, because you will have no peace of mind. If you have doubts, then you will have no peace of mind. Ilya? So many people came to Swami. They were impressed by Swami's love. They were so moved by Swami's miracles. They did all of that. They thought, oh, no. Then suddenly doubt came. When doubt came, they said, no. Whose loss is it? Whose loss was it? Who was the one then that spent the rest of their time in agony of some this sort or the other? Adukku doubt illam irukkiradhu nimadi illiyo. Never doubt. If doubt perchance comes in, then immediately take recourse to all of those stories and leelas of the Lord that will immediately remove doubt in you. Does Swami know me? Will Swami care about me? Yes, Swami cares about each one of us, isn't it? I was reading a story today. Very nice story. Because, see, where is the doubt? See, we all know Swami. We have no doubts about Swami. We know Swami is God. We know Swami is Avatari. But then we also heard stories of so many people who are close to Swami and got so many opportunities. We are not close. Immediately the thought will come, where am I? Will he know about me? That doubt will come. That doubt is also wrong, because there's a story. This devotee of Swami went from America to Parthi to see Swami. So when she was going from America, there was a lady who went to the center, who goes to the same Sai center as her. She was expecting at that time. That lady was expecting. So she wrote a letter to Swami. And in that letter, she wrote a number of names, boy names and girl names. She wanted, because she knows this woman will always get an interview. So she said, oh, if you give this letter to Swami and Swami can pick a name, then we can give that name to the child. This was her desire. And she did not even seal the envelope. She kept the envelope open and she gave it to this lady. You please take it. So she brought it to India. And then when she came for darshan, Swami called her for interview. She went and then she realized she's forgotten the letter. I forgot the letter. Okay, no problem. Then she came back. Next time if I get a chance. Next day again interview. This time she got the letter. So she took the letter with her, but she kept it within and was looking at Swami, talking to Swami. She forgot about the letter. And Swami said, hey, when are you going to give me the letter your friend sent? Yesterday you forgot, so I called you back again today for interview. Again you are forgetting. Swami, now I took the letter, opened it, read it. Didn't say anything. Closed it, put it back in the envelope. Gave two pendants. Two pendants he made and he gave it to him and said, give everything back to that woman. Give everything to that lady. So then she came back. So when she came back and she gave everything, this is what Swami gave. Partha, the envelope that was sent unsealed was sealed. It was sealed. When the husband opened it, the list of names, he saw two names that were underlined. Swami merely read it, but two names were underlined. And this woman said, don't read the name out to me, because I don't want to know whether it is a boy or girl until it is born. Whatever name Swami has given, we'll give. But don't read the names. So the husband said, no, there are two names. There is one boy name and there is one girl name. Anirudh, appadina boy name. Samyukta, appadina girl name. 2 names are there. So 2 pendants were also given. Few days later, a boy was born and was named Anirudh. And again, and a couple of years later, a girl was born and was named Samyukta. So then, when this lady came back to see Swami, Swami said, "Did you give everything?" "Yes, Swami." "Pendants, Techa?" "Yes, Swami." And Swami said, "They think I don't know them because they have never had an interview with me. So they think I don't know them. I know every one of you." See, what a beautiful story. In the story, what I liked the most about the story is the person who got the interview is a person who always gets interviews. They are always close to Swami. So they have so many miracles and instances and experiences. Big deal. They are close to Swami. They will keep getting. What about me? We will think. But here, someone else is also a recipient of His grace, where he says, "I know. They think I don't know them because I have not given an interview to them." See, they've never got an interview in their life. They've come to Parthi and the same. Like so many of you. You may have never gotten an interview. But do you think Swami doesn't know you? Do you think Swami doesn't care about you? Every little thing Swami is paying attention to. Every little thing he is paying attention to. So then, why should we doubt? Why should we unnecessarily have doubt in our hearts? He knows and He has got a plan. We should never doubt this. If you ever have a doubt, remember this story. If ever you have a doubt, where does Swami know me? I don't have this story. Don't be so foolish as to say, but Swami is no longer there, he took Mahasamadhi. Then I will beat you. I will say, get out of satsang. There's no room for that doubt. That is too cheap. Simply decide for yourself to be firmly fixed in your reality. In your inner reality, if that is pure, everything is pure. If that is true, everything is true. If you wear blue eyeglasses, then everything will appear blue only, isn't it? Even though nature is resplendent in many colors. If the world appears to you with so much of faults and differences, it is your fault only. It is because of the fault that is present in you. If everything appears to you as only prema, that is also because of your prema only. If you have love in your heart, everybody will also respond with love. Love will be felt in all things, love will be felt. Or rather, you will feel love in everything. Even if a person criticizes you, you will feel love in that also. Doesn't mean everybody will start praising you, because previously we saw Swami saying even avatars are subject to praise and criticism both. Why does Avatar not have love? Why is somebody criticizing? We cannot say, does Rama not have love? Otherwise, why did Ravana steal Sita away? That means Rama has a fault. That is foolish. Rama sees only prema. That is what should be understood. Other person may see whatever, but he will only see prema. That is why Rama says, Yadiva Ravana Swayam. Even if Ravana himself comes, so what? I will accept him. I will accept him. How can Rama accept Ravana? Rama sees only love everywhere. He doesn't see any hatred anywhere. For both of these, the feeling that you have is the cause. Whether you see good outside or bad outside, it is up to you. It is simply a question of how you view this world. It is only because you have faults within you that you see the world as faulty. When there is no knowledge of the fault in yourself, no fault can be found, even by search, for you would not even know which are the faults. See something, you understand what it means? If you never lie, you will never think that others will lie. If someone is saying something, hey, is he saying the truth? If the doubt is coming at that, because you know how to lie. That is why you are doubting that person's words. If you don't know how to lie, then how would you know what lie is? Swami is going to that extent. If you don't even know what is lying, then how will you suspect somebody is lying? Isn't it? But now the question may arise, whether the Lord himself has faults, because he is also able to look at faults in us. He is also searching for faults in us. Swami is asking the question. But how can it be said that the Lord searches for faults? He searches only for goodness, not for faults and sins. He only sees Sadbhava. He considers Those endowed with such righteousness as deserving His grace, whoever they are, wherever they are. It's a very beautiful point, very funny, humorous point also. We may say, I don't have God's grace because I have so many faults. According to Swami, God doesn't look at our faults at all. He is trying to look only for goodness in us. If you are not receiving grace, now goodness is also not there. What can He do? There is no trace of goodness in you. How can He give His grace? You may think, oh, I have goodness, but I also have faults. He must have looked at the faults and denied me His grace. He is not looking at faults at all. He is searching desperately for good in you. You have no sadbhava at all, no righteous bhava at all in you. Then how can He give grace? Doesn't matter. Dosho yadyapi natyajayam na Bhagavan Sharna. Mitra bhavena sampraptam. If you have come to me with love, even if you have faults, I will not abandon you. What does that mean? That means if you have love, I will look at the love and disregard the faults. If you don't even have love, I will still disregard faults, but there is nothing else also to give anything to you. Isn't it? In the, if you have a torn banknote or a dirty banknote, no, you can take it to the bank and they will exchange it for good notes. Swami often used to give this example. In India, here it doesn't matter. In India, they will not accept a torn note. So the only place where you can, by mistake, if it's torn, no, you have to go into the bank and they will give a fresh new note in exchange for it. So even if it is dirty, as long as it is a currency note, you can get a new note for it. You go there with nothing. Give me a note. Give me a note. What for? Why? No, you take dirty notes and give notes. No, so give me a note. I will take dirty notes. But at least, even if it is dirty, it has to be a currency note. With nothing you give me, what will I give back to you? So even if our bhakti is dirty, at least bhakti should be there, no? Even if we are filled with faults, at least prema should be there. Then we have some chance of redemption. But if prema is not there, what is the use? Likewise, you may take a clean piece of paper, go to the bank, empty, blank, clean piece of paper. Here, give me 100 rupees. Why? No, I'm giving you clean note, no? Hey, it has to be currency note. Doesn't it? Whether it is clean or dirty is not a point, but it has to have that value in it. Likewise, our bhakti also, it doesn't mean it has to be perfect. Even if it is faulty, Bhagavan will accept it. But on the other hand, without prema, look, I'm dressed well. I am well educated. I have got a lot of accomplishments in this world. Give me grace. Bhagavan will say, where? For a blank note, why will I give grace? It has to be a valuable, valid note. Even if it is dirty, it doesn't matter. But it has to be a valid note. And even a clean piece of empty paper does not get anything in return. Like that, you have to understand. Bhagavan is not looking at faults. He is not searching for faults. He is only with a magnifying glass. You will see him with a magnifying glass. Oh, he's looking for faults. No, faults, he doesn't need a magnifying glass. If Bhagavan wants to look at faults in us, he doesn't need magnifying glass. They are already magnified. So many and so big. Then why does he have a magnifying glass? Because the good is so tiny, he has to search hard and deep for it. That is why he is searching so hard. We think our faults are negligible. That is why he is looking for faults. Not at all. He pays a blind eye to faults. I can attest to this from my own experience. I know it to be true that Swami, if you have prema, will accept you no matter what else you may or may not have. This is truth. Therefore, develop this goodness, develop this righteousness, live and act in joy and love. These two are sufficient. Salvation can be attained without fail. Look what the Swami is saying. Live and act with joy and love. Anandamuga premato. Anandamuga premato. How should we live? Happily. Don't be sad. Don't be miserable. Be happy. When can you be happy? When you fill yourself with prema, you'll be happy. Otherwise, you will not be happy. You will find something or the other to give misery to you. Have connection with God. And when you have trouble, you take it to Him. You tell Him. You open your heart and say, Swami, Swami will take care. Swami, at least He has to respond to you. At least He will say, hey, don't worry, I'll take care. That much is enough then after that. In reality, Swami says, we are all endowed with full prema. Our hearts are like great springs of prema, karuna. We are all endowed with true speech only. Peace itself is our real nature, our real characteristic of our inner being is peace. Heart is filled with prema, karuna. Our speech is filled with satya. And shanti is our very nature, our very swarupa. But just as gold and silver lie hidden in the depths of the earth, just as pearl and coral lie hidden in the depths of the ocean, so also all of this is lying hidden within us. If you want to get the gold, then you can't merely scratch the surface, you have to go and get it. If you want to get the pearl, you have to dive deep into the ocean and then you should get it. Isn't it? Like that, we've got to go within, turn your mental activities inwards, and then you will automatically discover the great true fountain of love that is present inside. Only one who has filled himself with love and who lives in the light of this prema can actually be called human. Those who are devoid of this prema are all demons, monsters, subhumans. Danava, Manava. Swami is talking about two things. Danava, Manava. Danavana demons. Manavana humans. What is the difference between Danava and Manava? Danavas are those who trample upon prema and consider inferior qualities as important. Asura guna. Inferior qualities na all worldly things. Inferior na worldly things na. Why inferior? Why are worldly things inferior? They are kshanika, momentary, they are transitory. There is no long-lasting permanence to it. Adanaala ella inferior. We are giving so much importance to all these inferior things. Then, and we trample upon pure prema, Bhagavad prema, then that is the characteristic, the lakshana of a Danava. Have you ever heard of poor demons in our mythology? How poor Rakshasa went begging house to house. They are all wealthy. They all have palaces. Isn't it? Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Shishubala, all rich people now. They all have palaces. Yeah, they give importance to that only. Ana, Sudama. What did Hanuman have? Hanuman. Have you heard of Hanuman having wealth and riches? What did Hanuman have? What did Shabari have? What did Gopikas have? They are not giving importance to wealth. You have never heard of a poor Rakshasa. That Rakshasa was struggling in poverty. Isn't it? Akinchanaha. Those who do not give importance to worldly qualities, worldly attributes, they are all the devotees of the Lord. Those who give importance to all worldly things, accumulate more and more wealth, have more pomp and show and pageantry, this, that, and the other, Danava gunas. Humans are those who consider love as the only quality to be fostered and inferior qualities as snakes to be destroyed. Bad conduct and bad habits distort the humanness of people. Hearts filled with the amrita of prema indicate the genuine humanity in people. By prema, what do we mean? By prema, Swami means here the love that is unsullied, unselfish, devoid of impurity and continuous. Continuous prema. Not prema only for those that are nice to me. Continuous. It is for everybody. If you love only those who are good to you, then what difference is there between you and the Pharisee? Says Jesus in the Bible. Verily I say unto you, if you are my disciple, then you shall love even your enemy. Continuous love. Unselfish love. When is it selfish love? I will love only those who are good to me. Unselfish love. When is it unselfish love? I love everybody because it is my nature to love. It has nothing to do with you. My nature is to love. I don't care what kind of a creature you are. You may be a dog, but I can only know how to love you. It has nothing to do with the person who's receiving it. It has to do with the person giving that prema. Unsullied. No selfishness in it. This is the prema that Swami is talking about. The difference between Manava and Danava, human and demon. That's Sanskrit la Manava, Danava. The difference is only Ma and Da. Manava, Danava. Yeah? Ma. Nava is the same. Ma and Da. And Swami says here, see the syllable Ma. It is so soft. Ma. Da. It is so hard. It is so harsh. And Swami uses that itself as an example. He says the letter Ma is soft, it is sweet, it is immortal in its symbolism. Whereas the sound Da is Da. Da, Enama. Is there not a difference? See, Swami is using it in this way, but just think about Enama, Yavama, come here, Ma. Come here, Ma. Yavama. See, isn't that sweet? Da, Yava. When you want to call some stranger or some, a servant or somebody, in some households they use, Da, Yava. Some wives also call their husband like that. Da, Yava. Summa thane irukra. சில ஆத்துல அப்படி கூட சொல்லுவா. அந்த மனுஷன் அப்படி இருப்பான்னு இருக்கும், தானவனா இருப்பான்னு இருக்கும். இஸ் அ தானவா, Da, Yava. Da is like that. Ma is nice and sweet. Manava, Danava. So if sweetness is not there, then how can he be called Manava? If he does not seek immortality, how can he be called Manava? Theirs is the nature of Danavas only, even if they have form of a human. Akara Manavalu, Swami would talk about them. Akara Manava, not Achara Manava. Akarana form, Acharana practice, conduct. Human only in form, not in conduct. How can those with mere human form be called humans if they have no kindness or rightness, righteousness in them? If they have the nature of demons, how can we call them humans? The sentences in my discourse are not addressed on the basis of form, but the qualities of people. Swami says here. He will clarify. Danava, Ravana's family or Hiranyakashipu's family. Swami says, among people also, there are demons aplenty. Humans and demons look alike. See, Ravana, they have two horns. You normal, Kamsan all were normal only. Shishupala was normal only. They also look like human beings. In fact, he was cousin of Krishna, so how will he be abnormal? Nama nadichirupom Danava appadina two Gora Parkal, two teeth will come like this, curved teeth like saber-toothed tiger, and two horns will come like this. They'll have a spiked tail. The demon. Swami says demons and humans look alike. Manavas and Danavas look alike, but their qualities make them distinguishable as human and demons. Humans engage in soft and sweet deeds of kindness, righteousness, love, and truth. They are witnesses to the possibility of realizing and manifesting one's own true immortality. Their good nature is resplendent upon their faces as Ananda. But without that goodness, even if they are infatuated with joy, their faces will indicate only the destructive fire of the demons. It will not have the grace of spiritual bliss. See, this is something that we can easily distinguish. Just because somebody is happy doesn't mean that the face is shining with tejas. Prema in the face can be known by all of us, is it not? Can you not tell the difference between somebody smiling at you with love and smiling at you in mockery? Can you not tell the difference? You can you not? If you're just because somebody is happy, can you not tell where that happiness is coming from? Is it inner happiness? Is it Atmananda that is shining in their face as happiness? Or is it some worldly Ananda, Lokananda, Laukikananda? We can tell the difference between ordinary pleasure and divine bliss. We all ourselves, see, when I look at all of you listening to this discourse and having a beautiful smile, I can tell where that smile is coming from. That is divine Ananda that is shining forth in your face. That is one thing I love about these sessions. As we get into it, 2 hour session, 1.5 hour session, as we get into by half an hour's time, I love to see all the faces. Every face is like a blossomed flower, so bright and radiant. That have started off, God knows how. Better left unsaid. But as it goes on, you can see, because that inner being is listening and responding. The person who's coming and sitting down is the outer Danava. But the person who's starting to respond is the inner Manava, inner Deva. That you can see, and it gives great joy to me every time I sit down and give a discourse like this. I see divinity shining in every face. It is darshan. In so many forms I get darshan, in a way. And that you can easily tell the difference between that ecstatic ananda that springs forth from the resonance that happens between these words and your antaratma. It is not here. It is not intellectual understanding. Intellectual understanding, I mean, very sagely with a face loader, you will nod your head. That also I have seen. That's correct. Correct. Very correct. I mean, even one certificate. You know, some people will sometimes come and tell me, correct. What you said was very correct. Why would I say it otherwise? If it was wrong, what business do I have to sit here and tell you what is wrong? I am telling you only because it is correct. Why do you have to come and tell me? Romba correct and the point matram people know they get carried away. I don't find fault with them. They just get so excited and carried away. They will come and say, the discourse, that point was so correct. What about the rest then? And the point that moved them. You have to understand, Pama, that moved them. The rest of it they didn't hear. But that one at least they. So at the end of every discourse, I have all these like after party. I have this amusement park for me myself. Comedy show. It's not that they don't realize what they are saying. That is all power. They come from the heart is in the right place. About the brain, we do not know. Is it in the right place? Is it at all there? Samshayatma vinashyati. But still, we have to doubt sometimes whether it is there or itself or not. During Treta Yuga, when Narada asked Sri Rama about the nature and the characteristics of his servants, Rama answered this way. Listen, O Narada, people who are my slaves are full of love. They stand by dharma. They speak the truth. Their hearts melt with mercy. They are devoid of wrong. They avoid sin. Their nature is well balanced. They will renounce everything gladly. They eat in moderation. They are engaged in doing good to others. They have no selfishness. They are not plagued by doubts. They won't lend their ears to flattery, but are eager to listen to the praise of the good nature of others. They have beautiful, strong, and holy character. Sadhakas are those who endeavor to acquire such qualities and possess such a character. Yes, so this is Rama. This is definition of Ramadasa. How are your dasas? Ramadasas. How are they? Rama tells Narada, Sai Rama tells us. People who are my dasas are full of prema. How can we be? And they are filled with dharma and satya. Hanuman goes there and stands in front of Ravana and says, what I am saying is the truth. You should have no doubt about it. Ramadhutasya, Ramadasasya, Vanarasya Visheshataha. Because I am Ramadasa, I am Ramaduta, therefore you can trust me, my words are true. He is telling Ravana. Ravana also knows. Oh, Ramadasana, it will be truth only. What to do? He doesn't want to listen to the truth, but unfortunately Ramadasa is saying it has to be true. Hey, give back Sita, otherwise you'll be destroyed. Who wants to listen to the truth? Nobody wants to. But Ramadasa is saying, so you've got to accept it as the truth. Otherwise you cannot be Ramadasa. You cannot be Ramaduta. The words have to be filled with the truth. Actions have to be filled with righteousness. Heart has to be filled with love and mercy and compassion. Sin is avoided. Nature is well balanced, well founded. They are willing to renounce everything gladly for his sake. Ramasyartham sahishye. I shall put up with everything for the sake of Rama. Hanuman gladly says. The question may be asked, when Hanuman's tail is wrapped up in cloth dipped in oil and set on fire and paraded through the streets, Hanuman says, for Rama's sake I will put up. Question may be asked, did Rama tell him? Hey Hanuman, when your tail is set on fire, you put up, huh? Did Rama tell Hanuman? No. Then how can Hanuman assume this is for Rama's sake? Everything he does is for Rama's sake. Everything he does is for Rama's sake. So what is his attitude? Anything that comes to me in my life is for Rama's sake. It is not my job or my place to analyze how and why this is for Rama. Puriyarda? Chinna example. You have a headache. What should your attitude be? For Rama's sake, I will put up with it. For Swami's sake, I will put up with the headache. You cannot say, but Swami doesn't want you to have a headache. If Swami did not want me to have the headache, I would not have had it. Yes or no? How can you say Swami did not want it? I have it. It means Swami wanted it. So Ramasya Artham da. It is for the sake of the Lord da. I have to put up with everything for the sake of the Lord. Otherwise I wouldn't have it in the first place. Joy or to say sorrow or to say. Joy and sorrow both. If it has come to me, he has allowed it. Otherwise it will not come. Is he not watching over me? Again, if you don't have the faith that he is watching over you, if you don't have the faith that he is taking care of you, then you will have these doubts. But again, if you have a headache, you take some Jandu balm and put it on your head. I am not saying don't put Jandu balm. If it's too bad, you eat paracetamol. I am not saying don't eat paracetamol. That also eat for Rama's sake. If you have to bear the headache for Rama's sake, then the remedy also is for Rama's sake only. If you are not meant to, then the remedy will not be at hand. Have you not had a situation where you are suffering from some pain and you are putting up with it? Then later on you discover, oh, I had the medicine with me all the time. When? After the pain is gone. The pain part வந்துட்டு then you realize, டப்பால இருந்தது இல்லை, நம்ம அப்போ இந்தியாவிலேருந்து வாங்கிட்டு வந்தோம்ல, இது ஸ்பெஷல் ஆயில் இல்லை, இது தடவினா எல்லாம் போயிடுமே. அப்போ what does it mean? Just because you have the remedy doesn't mean you can apply it. He has to allow that also. So, if remedy is there and you are able to apply it now, good, that means Bhagavan is allowing you to apply the remedy. Then do it for his sake. This is what it means to have a well-balanced nature. Otherwise, foolishly we'll say, no, I have to put up with all pains. Put up with pain, put up with medicine also. You put up with the pain, you put up with the doctor also. That is also putting up only. It is not that only pain has to be, but that is also not right. Unless you are some kind of a masochist or something. Ramadasa doesn't mean you have to be a masochist. Giving himself pain. Now I shall tell you about those who are dear to me, those who are priya to me. Anyone who is engaged in the repetition of the name, japa, tapas, penance, vratas, vows, anyone who has samyama, self-control, niyama, discipline, anyone who has shraddha, anyone who has saburi, patience, anyone who has comradeship and kindness, joy, as well as unalloyed prema towards me, such people are very dear to me. This is what we must strive to become, very near and dear to God. God is very near and dear to us. Are we near and dear to God? When do we become dear to Him? Some sadhana or the other if we are doing, automatically we are dear to Him. Japa, tapas. When we have self-control, samyama, niyama, yama, some vrata we are following for His sake. Swami, for your sake I will do this. But whatever you do, you become dear to Him. And on top of it, having shraddha in your heart, having kindness towards everybody in your heart. It's very easy then. Having kindness is so easy. In fact, it is a real nature to have kindness. To have unkindness is effort. You are naturally kind. You are actually naturally kind. Unless you develop so much selfishness in you, you cannot remain unmoved in face of somebody's sorrow, isn't it? Have you seen small children? If someone's crying, have you seen small children? They will keep going there and touching them and keep doing something to them. Have you seen this? No, that is their nature. If somebody is in pain, if somebody is in sorrow, little children can't stand it. They will go there, they will touch them, they will try to wipe their eyes, they will do something. They will not understand. They don't know what is going on, they won't understand. And they can't keep quiet. Because that much selfishness has not yet come. They can't ignore it. Another person's sorrow cannot be ignored by a child. As you grow up, some problem for him. What can I do? Let him be. Every night. Isn't it? If he has a problem, that is his problem. What can I do? So much selfishness. We become unmoved by it. But heart should be filled with kindness, prema. Karuna should be there. But don't get entangled. Balance is necessary. Balance is very important. Chala avashyam ikkada. Otherwise, what will happen, Abriyana? In a misguided compassion. In the name of misguided compassion, you lose your shanti. That is like the story I told you yesterday. Jumping into the water without knowing how to swim to save somebody. What prayojanam is? Instead, you can run around calling somebody else who can swim. You can make a phone call to 000. You can do so many other things instead of jumping into the water. No, you can try and get something to throw to them or something. But you don't jump into the water. Have compassion, but don't get entangled. Don't go getting into the details. Never get into it. Somebody has a problem. Enough that they have a problem. Don't need to know the nature of the problem, when the problem started, how long the problem has been, what are the various modifications of the problem. Somebody says, I have diabetes. Enough. Okay, you control your diet, I will pray for you. How much sugar? Fasting, how much? Postprandial, how much? That much? That is really high. Very, very, very high. I mean, what's the use? No use for you, no use for them also. No need. You are not a doctor. If you are a doctor, different story. Then it is a prarabdha. You are not a doctor. So you don't have to go and unnecessarily dig deep into their levels of cholesterol, levels of sugar. Otherwise, you will lose your shanti. You will get entangled. Enough to know that they have an issue. Isn't it? Will you pray more if their sugar is a little higher than normal? What is the normal sugar? 6.5? 7? 7. Blood sugar should be 7. This person has got 11. So if he's got 11, will you pray for 11 hours? Oh, 11 sugar. Pray more, pray more. He has got only 8. Enough if I pray 8 minutes. Prayer is prayer. Prayer is for a well-being. The level of sugar that they have should not influence your prayer in the first place. Konjam pray panna porum. It doesn't work like that, no. Sincerely pray. Whatever the problem is, pray. The extent of the problem is unnecessary news to you. Do you understand? Similarly, if you want somebody to pray for you, you want somebody's grace, you have a problem, you don't have to go and explain the details of your problem to them. Some issues there. It will be nice if you can pray for me. That is enough. Why? He who needs to know already knows. Isn't it? Do you need to take your blood report to God? Do you need to take your blood report to God and say, just in case, Swami, you check the results and then you give blessings, huh? Swami, issue. Okay, I'll give you vibhuti. No, wait, Swami, I will give me a blood test report. You look at it fully and then you decide what kind of vibhuti you want to give me. Is it necessary? Swami is not giving medication. Swami is giving vibhuti only. He doesn't need to know what levels are there. So even to Swami, we did not need to explain all our problems. And to others, definitely not. Please don't burden them. Don't spoil them. Don't spoil their shanti. This is your responsibility. But suppose somebody is telling you, then what should you do? Don't take everything on board. Stop, enough. Heard it all. Don't worry. I have to, no need. No, I have to explain a little bit more. That bit I left out. No need. It is enough that you told me that there is a problem. I will pray. I will pray that all your problems are solved without knowing what they are. So have joy in your heart. Otherwise, joy will be threatened. Again and again, Swami is saying, have joy in your heart. If you want to remain happy, don't get garbage into yourself. Be happy. The less you know, the happier you are. Isn't it? But pray for everybody. Now, there's always this little story that that is told about a man who did tapasya. And Bhagavan appeared in front of him. Lord appeared in front of him. What boon do you want? I want 2 boons, Swami. Huh? Okay, I will give 2 boons. You did enough tapas. 2 boons, okay, I'll give 2. What boons? Whoever comes to me with any problems, their problem should be solved. First boon. This is not bad. Tatastu. Second boon. I should not know about it. I should not know about it. Second boon. I need not know that they have a problem. I need not know that the problem was solved. But if they should have a problem and think of me, let the problem be solved. One, if you know what the problem is, you will also have a problem. 2, if you know that you have solved that problem, that is the greatest problem. Yeah. They came to me, their problem was solved. Who can dare to say that if the moment you say it, next time somebody comes to you will get problems because of you? Then where will you go and say anything about it? Now, about my real bhakta, Rama still continues. He is spoken about those who are Ramadasas. Then he is spoken about those who are dear to him. Now he speaks about the real devotees, true bhaktas. Whoever with viveka and vairagya, discrimination and detachment, vinaya and vijnana, humility and wisdom, is aware of the knowledge of the reality. Whoever is always immersed in the contemplation of my divine Leela, my sport, who dwells on my name at all times and under all conditions, and whoever sheds tears of love whenever the Lord's name is heard from any lip, they are my genuine devotees. Who is a genuine devotee? Viveka should be there, Vairagya should be there, Vinayam should be there, Vijnana should be there, and the knowledge of the reality should be there. Rest of it should be seen and enjoyed as Bhagavat Leela. And in the midst of it all, where do they find their joy? By constantly chanting the name and listening to the name with tears pouring down from their eyes. Rama says, they are my true devotees. Thus did Rama answer Narada. So, Swami says here, so, Kanuka, the Lord will protect in all ways and at all times those who worship Him in complete, uncontaminated bhakti. Just as the mother protects her infant, just as a cow protects her calf from danger, and just as the eyelids guard the eye effortlessly and automatically. God will protect us at all times and in all ways. Always, in all ways. Always and in all ways. He will protect us like the mother protecting the child. Even if she has to bear the blow upon her body, she will protect the child. Isn't it? Even if she has to bear the injury, she will protect her child. Like that, God will protect us. Like the eyelids protecting the eye, automatically and effortlessly He will protect us. When we worship Him with uncontaminated bhakti, Purna bhakti, complete bhakti, and uncontaminated bhakti. What is contamination? Selfishness is contamination. Selfishness and self-interest is contamination. Selfless bhakti, uncontaminated pure bhakti. Complete bhakti. Purna bhakti, not partial bhakti. He alone matters to me, Purna bhakti. He also matters to me, partial bhakti. That is the difference. He alone matters to me. Everything else is subject to Him, Dane. Everything else is important. But after Him only they are important. They are important only because of Him. If He did not give it, it is not there. Who is the author of it all? It is Ishvara who is the author of it all. So, for everything, He becomes the base, the substratum. When the infant grows up into an adult, the mother won't pay so much attention to its safety. So too, the Lord doesn't pay much attention to the jnani. The devotee of the form, Saguna Bhakta, is like an infant of the Lord and has no strength except the strength of the Lord. For the jnani, their own strength is enough. Therefore, until one can rely on one's own strength, one must be an infant in the Lord's hands, as a devotee of the form of the Lord. No one can become the devotee of the Nirguna, of the formless, without first having become a devotee with the form. அப்போ இங்கே Swami says, a unique conundrum it is. When the infant grows up into the adult, mother won't pay so much attention to it. You may think, oh, then I don't want to grow up at all. I always want to be a baby. Is it possible? Is it possible to always be a baby? Is it a mark of prema towards the mother to always be a baby? Mother has the first child. First child is a baby. Mother looks after the child in every way. Child grows up, becomes 4 years of age when a second child is born. Now, what should the elder child do? Should not the elder child say, Amma, these things I will do on my own. You look after the new papa. You look after the new baby. I will do these things on my own. If the child says, then that shows the love that the child has towards the mother. No, you have to do everything for me. You are doing only for the papa. Isn't it a burden upon the mother? Mother may do it. Mother may still do it. But is it not a burden upon the mother? But should the child say, Amma, it's okay, I will look after her. How much more the love grows for the child. It is also a child. But the child is looking after me and telling me, Amma, you don't worry, I will manage on my own. Or I will get Appa to do it. I will get Party to do it. Don't worry, you don't have to do. If the child should say, how will the mother feel? So that doesn't mean you should always remain a baby. You should grow up and become a jnani. Then you reduce the burden upon him. He has got other babies to look after. But what will he do? He will now treat you as an equal. He will treat you as an equal. What he will not tell the baby, he will tell you. Isn't it? How do parents behave with their adult children? Like these things are there. I did this. I've invested in that bank, and I have invested in this thing. Like equals, they will talk. To the baby, hey, what do you want? You want to eat something? They will talk. To adult, to adult son, will they say? You become equal to the parent when you become an adult. When you become a jnani, you become equal to God. And then what happens? You will have children of your own. You will have people to look after on your own. You will become that big. Vishvesha Vandya Bhavati Bhavanti. ये विश्वाश्रयाये देवी महात्म्यतलो और श्लोकम. It says, Hey Amba, those who worship you, who are the refuge of the world, will themselves become worshipable by the world and refuge of the world. You are the Vishwashrayaye. You are the Vishwashraya. You look after the entire world, the refuge of the whole world. But those who worship you, because of your greatness, what do? You make them also worthy of worship by everybody. Sharing the job. So how should you grow up? You should grow up like infants on the lap of the mother. And thereafter, you must become realized jnanis who rely on their own strength and be free. But they know that their so-called own strength comes from the mother only. Where is their own strength? Adu Ishvara Shakti dane. It is also from the mother. Those indeed are fortunate who grasp the secret of the path of bhakti, who develop one-pointed bhakti and straighten the traits of their character, who transform themselves into infants in the lap of the Lord and get everything done as He wishes. Therefore, those who yearn to be bhaktas, servants, priyas, and one-pointed devotees should take up the corresponding path and name and live accordingly. The devotee should develop the above said characteristics of devotion. The dear ones should follow the love of the Lord. The one-pointed devotee has to surrender completely to the Lord. 3 things he has spoken about. You can become a servant. You can become somebody very dear. You can become a child. When are you a servant? When you do those things, you are a servant. When you do these things, you become Priya. Then you do these things, you are most intimate, near and dear Bhakta. When you surrender completely, you become a near and dear Bhakta. When you don't surrender completely, some japa you do, some bhajana you do, apana you are Ramadasa. Where will the servant be? Outside. Servant won't come into the bedroom. Servant will be outside. Yeah? He is still, okay, I will do some japa, I will do bhajan. I have other desires also. I have other things also. I have another household to go to. Servant. Servant has his own family, he has to go. He will stay during the time when he has to do work, and after that he will go to his own house. I have my family, I have my agendas, I have my thing. But I will help you, I will serve you, I will do all these things. I'm a servant. They speak about different terminology. Sanskrit is such a beautiful language. Servant matra cholamatam. Bhritya, Sevaka, Paricharaka, Dasa. So many levels are there. Each one is different. One is staying outside at the door. One is staying inside. One is a close bodyguard. Wherever he goes, he'll go along with him. Every levels are there. Like that with Bhagavan also. There are devotees. What will they do? They'll sing bhajans in the center. After that, they will live their own lives. They're also okay. Devotees. Followers. I follow Sai Baba. What do? I go to center. What else do you do? What more? That's all. He only said that much. You go do bhajans once a week. I do that. They are followers. When you go to closer, devotee. Devotee. Who's a devotee? They have they listen to the teachings. There's something they try to practice, something they try to follow. But who's the close, the nearest, the most intimate? They've surrendered everything to Swami. Swami alone is everything to them. They have no other life apart from Swami. Life is revolving Swami, 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 Swami. You decide. Do you want Swami to be part of your life 1 hour every week? Maybe a few hours every day? All your life. But 3 categories have arisen. So based on, Swami gives a free choice to all of us. This is Swami's greatness. Swami doesn't say, he's so broad-minded, he's so magnanimous that he says, you choose which one you want to be. You want to be servant, you can be servant. You want to be devotee, you can be devotee. You want to be intimate, you can be intimate. And then Swami says, unfortunately for all of you, I am not so broad-minded at all. I have no patience for the second 2. You must be the third. So if you ask me to tell you, I will say surrender completely. Hold him alone as a priority. He alone matters to you. I do not give you any choice of the other 2. Even if he gives, Sami varam kudutha kuda ange Asami varam kudukka poradilla. Pusari kudukka poradilla varam. There is a saying, the God has given the boon, priest is not giving. God may give, this priest is not going to give. I am not going to allow you to choose, pick and be part-time devotee. If you are part-time devotee, don't come to this satsang. This is only for intimate circle. An intimate circle on Urkolya, you are not allowed inside that. No, even God also will keep that levels. God also will keep a level. He'll say all the external people have a meeting, all the middle people have a meeting, all the inner people have a meeting. So other fellow can't come into the inner group. Here other people are not allowed. Therefore, even if Swami gives you the option of picking from 3, you are not allowed. I don't give you option. Only one option allowed. What? Complete surrender to Swami. Totally immersing yourself. He alone should matter. Nothing else should matter. Mere reading and rolling on the name on the tongue are of no avail. Ananda is what you should have. Though I read some Parayana, I did. What did you get as a result of it? Back pain. I was sitting and reading for a long time. Back became a bit stiff. So, what is the prayojanam of our Parayanam? Back pain. What is the use? Ananda Maravendamo. I was filled with bliss. If you say, then your Parayana has had some prayojan. What were you doing? I was doing Namasmarana. What did you get out of it? I became thirsty. What is the use? Tongue became dry and parched. I became thirsty. I found Ananda. Happiness is what you should have. And this bliss is not dependent upon your gender or your caste or your race and so on. Even in those days, while Rama was gladly partaking of the feast of fruits and roots selected and reserved by Shabari for him, after tasting each individual item by herself. Some people don't agree. Some people say Shabari did not do all of that. Rama himself says, Shabari ate and gave, and I ate it. Ramare cholra. Several times also I've spoken to you about it. No, Shabari, forest dwelling woman, old woman. We ourselves don't go to dentist. Where will she have gone to dentist? Who knows how her teeth were? With that she bit and gave. No. But Shabari ate and gave, and Rama accepted it. Jute phal Shabari ke khayo. So she was giving the fruits to Rama. Rama was eating the fruits. At that time, she said, Swami, I am only a woman. Moreover, I am of a feeble intellect. Above all, I am low born. How can I praise you? I don't know what to do or how. Abdina Shabari asked. Shri Rama smiled and said, Amma, Shabari, my mission is only for the kinship of bhakti. I have no kinship with race, caste, etc. Of what use are status, wealth, and character, etc., but no devotion? Like the cloud that does not have any rain in it, which wanders about in the sky but doesn't pour any rain. Like that, people without any bhakti are at the mercy of the winds, however much they have status in terms of their caste, wealth, power, fame, etc. Devotees may reach me through 9 paths. Any one of the 9 paths takes you to me. Abdina Rama gives a discourse. Adhyatma Ramayana, you find it. Rama giving a discourse to Shabari on Navavida Bhakti. When we did Ramayana also, in this juncture, if you remember, we brought out Adhyatma Ramayana and discussed this little discourse. That is what Swami is talking about here. Swami tells Shabari, I am not interested in whether you know how to have bhakti or not. All I am interested in is bhakti. Yeah. Do I know? I don't know how to worship you. Who cares? However you worship me, when I am willing to accept, why should you know how to worship me? But still, because you have asked, I will tell you that there are 9 paths. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoho Smaranam, Padasevanam, Vandanam, Archanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. 9 types of bhakti. We see that in Bhagavatam, Prahlada talking about it to his father Hiranyakashipu. Inge you may like that here. Rama himself gives the discourse to Shabari and he lists these 9 types in it. The devotee who sincerely practices any one of these paths, Shravanam, abdina, listening to the stories about the Lord, listening to his glories, listening to Bhagavad Vishayam. Stories of God matramilla, Upanishadu adada. Brahma Vidya is also the same thing, the Shravanam. Kirtanam, singing the name, singing the glories. Vishnoho Smaranam, remembering the Lord. Padasevanam, serving the holy feet. Vandanam, reverence towards all nature and all life. Archanam, worship of the Lord. Ritual worship of the Lord is but one aspect of 9. Dasyam, dedicated servitude. Sakyam, considering him as your friend, sharing everything with him. Atmanivedanam, surrendering yourself completely at his feet. The devotee who sincerely practices any one of these can attain me. I am bound by these 9 forms of bhakti. That is why you have been able to so easily obtain this opportunity of seeing, touching, and speaking with me. Darshana, Sparshana, Sambhashana. Darshana, seeing. Sparshana, touching. Sambhashana, conversing. You have received this opportunity which even yogis find too difficult to get. So many times, Swami also used to say it. In Bhagavata, the scriptures also say, Yoginam api durlabham. Even yogis can't get it. Well, we will get a question. Yogis can't get it, then we have got it. How can it be valuable then? Yogis can't get it, we are getting it. How? Yogis have tapas, they don't have prema. Yogi is sitting and contorting his body. He is sitting for hours together and trying to do breath in, breath out. He is trying to do all kinds of exercises. But prema is not there in his heart. So, he has to work extra hard. But Bhagavan is attained through that also in the end. But it's a long path. So he is not getting it. This fellow is getting it, Abdina. He has prema in his heart. That is why we found it so easy. See, we found it so easy. Doesn't mean God became cheap. I also found him. He must be very cheap. No, we have prema, so he came for it. For the prema, he came. Not that he has reduced himself in value. Adhanalada, you have realized life's purpose. See, those who follow the ninefold paths are of two kinds. The followers of the hard path and the followers of the easy, safe path. Rendu path irukam. Easy path, hard path. This is sometimes referred to as the path with effort, bhakti yoga, and the path without effort, self-surrender, prapatti yoga. Bhagavad Ramanuja kept this as the basis for his entire Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta. Bhakti yoga, prapatti. Bhakti, you have to make the effort to keeping the mind in one pointed, not letting it stray, making sure that you have lots of rules and regulations, what you eat, what you cannot eat, because otherwise mind will go away here and there. Idella Bhakti yoga. Ashtanga yoga mein Bhakti yoga na. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, Bhakti yoga. Prapatti na, surrender to him. Swami also speaks about it. Ramakrishna also used to speak about it by these two terms. The practice of the monkey kid, the little monkey and the little kitten. Markata Kishora, Marjala Kishora. Markata Kishora Nyaya, Marjala Kishora Nyaya. Markata Kishora, appadina monkey baby. Kishora na child. Markata na monkey. Markata Kishora. Marjala, appadina. What is Marjala? Cat. Marjala Kishora, appadina kitten. So the kitten has one kind of bhakti. The monkey child has one kind of bhakti. Either we will see in the evening today. We will stop here for now. I have covered the requisite number of pages. So in the evening when we come, we will see the two types of devotion, which is the Markata Kishora Nyaya and the Marjala Kishora Nyaya. We've spoken about it before, but Swami is talking about it here at Prema Vahini. So we will discuss that detail. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kachid dukha bhag bhavet, loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Sai Ishwarar Pranamastu.